Welcome to another episode of the Songism show, where we feature and highlight talented, amazing creatives, musicians, people that love music. Here with my man, Sean Bing, drummer, singer, one of my best friends. Super glad to have you, Sean.
Hey, I'm thankful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey, don't be that thankful. Don't be that thankful. But thank you for coming on. Seriously, I appreciate you doing this. I love playing with you. You and I get an opportunity to play together once, twice a week.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky. You're so busy. You got so much going on that I'm lucky when I get to play with you because you're always doing something. You're a busy guy.
I always enjoy playing with you, bro. Seriously.
Thank you, man. Well, Sean, where are you from, man?
So I am from Barnwell, South Carolina, but I was born in Texas. My mom was in the military. So that's where I was born at El Paso, Texas. And then soon after she had me, a little bit later, we ended up moving towards Allendale, South Carolina. And then that's where all my family is at. And then sooner or later, we ended up buying a house in Barnwell, South Carolina, which is where I was born and raised pretty much, raised the rest of my life until I was 20. Yeah. Barnwell, man. Country. Super country. Nothing but hip hop and gospel. That's all you get around there. And country.
And cows.
And cows. Lots of cows. Lots of big open fields with corn and all kind of crops.
I love corn.
Corn is good.
Corn is good. Hell yeah, man. Well, so how did you get started playing drums?
So, my granddad was a pastor, and he had several churches. So, as I was growing up, my uncle was the drummer for his church. And sooner or later, he went to college, and we needed another drummer. Nobody else was like, I want to do it. And of course, I was playing drums already, but I was too young. I was 3 years old when he went to college. So I was like, my granddad was like, he was talking to my mom, let's get him to do it. She was like, he's only 3. How's he going to do that? Let's try it. So they put me on the drums, and sooner or later I caught on, man. I just started playing in church, 3 years old, 4 years old, started playing. And then next thing you know, I just started getting better and better and just kept going and kept playing and never let the craft go. And how I got to where I'm at today, I ended up, when my mom got married, we ended up going to a church in Williston, South Carolina called Cover Branch. And I met this guy there who they hired as the organist, but he's a percussionist. When he was in school, he went to... this is school in Orangeburg. Not Claflin, SCSU, I'm sorry. His name is Clyde Frazier, and he pretty much shaped and molded me as the drummer I am today.
And what about singing? Because you're an amazing singer, so when did that start for you?
The singing kind of started the same in church, just little by little. We had a praise team, and we had a choir, and we had a youth choir, senior choir, all of that. Before I was like actually singing and playing, I would just sing while I was playing drums. It would help me remember the song. And I guess, my granddad would see me doing that. He ended up putting a mic over by the drum set one day. And I was like, what's this for? It's for you. That's what he said. It's for you to sing with the praise team when they're singing. So, of course, it's trial and error. My first time actually singing out loud and playing wasn't the best, but I got used to it, and it just became one thing for me, drums and singing. Like, if you put a mic in front of me to stand in front of a crowd without drums, it's super awkward for me. I gotta have drums. It's like one thing for me.
It seems really hard to play drums and sing at the same time. I know it's hard to play guitar and sing and play bass at the same time, but drums seems really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on if it's a natural thing or if it's something that you like want to learn. I don't think it was something that I wanted. I just think it was something that I naturally gravitated towards, and it just became it was already in me. I just had to bring it out. And I can't say that it was easy, but I can't say it was hard either. It was just something I had to do to get it. And it worked.
Right on. So you kind of started singing by also playing drums in church. It was kind of one thing for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would sing like I said, with the praise team, or I would just do a solo selection by myself. My granddad used to always love somebody to sing a song before he gave the word. So sometimes I would be that person to do that. And I enjoy doing it, man. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do, man. Is to sing and play drums.
Oh, I mean, you kill it. You're one of the best there is. So now you sing and you play drums in 2 or 3 pretty heavily traveling, heavily gigging, recording bands, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
The projects that I'm in, of course, we got the guys, Psychedelics. Those are my boys. Check us out, Psychedelics. Another group is Doom Flamingo. And another group is Runaway Gin, fish cover band. I do a little bit of singing and playing in that too.
So Psychedelics is the funk.
Oh yeah, super funky.
Can you give me an example of something you'd play in Psychedelics?
Oh man, it's straight up something like. Just straight funk, man. Like, this is funk.
The 4
right
on the
here.
floor.
Yeah. Sometimes 4 on the floor. Sometimes you can just give it that one. Or you can switch to the 4 on the floor. To bring the energy up a little more,
I love that, man.
Yeah,
that's like my favorite freaking drum groove.
I like it.
You can sit in that pocket all day.
Exactly. It's not hard to play, but the thing is, anybody can play it, but in order to make it feel good, you got to play it with confidence. You got to play it funky, of course. You got to understand where it's coming from. And you just got to you got to actually put your all into that simple groove to make it sound real big and fat.
And I feel like it's all the little tasty nuances, the drum rolls and the hi-hat rolls.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So if I just play something super simple like quarter notes, can you start by playing a very standard regular beat and then add the nuances to show what makes it funky?
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm doing this.
So I'll come in like simple. We'll start simple. So if I want to add just a little bit to it, I might go ahead and add a little more to the hi-hat. Now if I want to add a little more to it, Instead of changing anything else, I'ma still change the hi-hat a little bit more. Now I'm gonna throw a little ghost note in there. Now I might throw some more extra kicks in there. Yeah. Now we getting funky. But remember, with funk, everything is on the one. So when you throw that big one hit in there, it feels good. On the one. Yeah.
Tasty.
Funk.
Love that funk.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so that's basically the kind of feel that you do in psychedelics. That's the feel that you and
one
I,
of many.
one
like,
of many, one of many.
Yeah.
That's the feel that you and I, the style we play in a lot when we're doing our restaurant gigs and our around town type gigs.
Oh, yeah.
we get funky with them. So, in terms of Doom Flamingo, that's a completely different,
way different.
musical landscape, right?
Yeah, super.
Explain to me the perspective of a drummer in a band like that. First, for those of people that don't know, can you tell them about Doom and what Doom is? And then I guess what your point of view is, being who you are and being the funky drummer, the singer, and being in an outfit like that.
So Doom is, we are a synthwave band, 80s kind of synthwave kind of sound. Really cool band. The lead singer is Kanika Moore. We got Ross on the keys, TK. We got Mike Quinn. We got Brian Stasik on the bass. It's a very dope band. The music is really fun, man. One of the things I really love about this band is that we have tracks, and I love playing the tracks. Love playing the tracks. It gives me the opportunity to just like lay in the beat for a little while and be creative without having to be the whole beat, because I got something else playing a little bit with me, so I can stay a little open and a little more in the pocket until I'm ready to come out and do a feel or whatever it may be. The thing about this band is that I get to creatively be a little more loose than I can in any other band. And when I say that, I don't say that as in more feels or being more fancy with the drumming. I say that as I don't have to be subjected just to one thing, the whole style, because sometimes we have jam sections where we can improv, and I love improv. Improving is fun. You get to get out your ideas, you know. If you want, I can show you a little bit of what I mean.
I would love that, Sean.
Yeah, man. So
Show
a lot
us.
of the stuff I do with them, it kind of a lot of 4 on the floor, a lot of just straight and stuff like that. Stuff get the crowd going, man. Like, we got a lot of crowd pumping music. You know, stuff like, I do a lot of that. Then we got some cool slow jams, mid-tempo jams. But when it gets to the improv part, I drop out with the kick. I just do, and I might let Ross, he might do some cool key stuff, or TK come in with some like real sweet chords. Or even Mike, he'll pick up the sax and just like go crazy with it. And then we just build up from there. It'll start. And it can go on and on and on. You know, it's a jam. So you ride the wave until everything feels right, and we take it back to the outro or whatever, another chorus, and we're out. That's the really cool thing about that band, man. Between psychedelics and that and Doom, it definitely teaches me how to keep both separate and not. But I can bring funk to the Doom sound too when it comes to the improv sections and stuff like that. But as far as keeping that sound that they already had when I joined, I stick to what's already been made, and that's that synthwave sound.
I feel like that is one of those situations where even though the sound is kind of niche and it's specific,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's widely accepted. It's a lot of people love this idea of the synthwave sound or the synth pop sound.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
man.
like a phenomenon. It's like the bringing back that what was great about 80s synth pop and synth wave and all that kind of stuff. Taking those elements, bringing it back and doing it in this day and age with our recording style and some dope
Yep.
people. It's really interesting how
It
that
is.
takes off. It's like some genres of music, I don't know if they are coming back. Maybe certain genres just have their time where they exist and they peak, and the musicians and the artists and the people that surround that style, they kind of ride, this fame wave,
Mhm.
and this, like, they're the center point of the world type deal, like 90s grunge, because there wasn't really anything like that before that.
Right.
But nowadays, if you saw a 90s grunge type band, you wouldn't think that there's the same phenomenon or cult following that a band like Fish or The Dead or, Dead and Co. has.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Certain styles of music, like jam band style of music, whether you want to make the argument that it ever went away at all, it's kind of there's been a resurgence of jam band music
very.
and the festival, and it's like some diehard fans that are just it's a whole lifestyle for them.
Very, man.
Some styles of music like K-pop, that was huge in the US for a second when the Gangnam Style thing happened.
Yeah, I would.
But they don't have the same.
That one.
I don't know if the K-poppers are doing what the fish heads are.
Nah.
Fish heads are taking over towns and cities. They're pillaging.
Very much.
The hippies are pillaging. It's like every city that has a Fish concert, it feels like the White House is getting taken over. That's the vibe of the Fishers that drive halfway across the country. Sorry, I don't mean to talk bad or talk down about Fish and the Fish heads, because a huge amount of your time is spent on the road with a successful Fish cover band.
Yeah, man.
You guys play some great shows. You got great musicians in the band. Give me a little sauce on that project.
I play with Runaway Gin, which is led by Andy Greenberg, the guy. He's had that thing going for 10 years or 10 plus years actually. And he's had the title. And if I'm not mistaken, he still has the title of number one fish cover band in the world. Um, Man, that project made me actually practice drums. Fishman is a crazy drummer. I mean, he's one of the most talented drummers I've ever heard. Um, I had to actually sit down behind the drums for hours learning like one song. It's insane, man. They have some really crazy parts in a lot of their songs that are just throw
And
you for a loop.
their catalog, their repertoire is
Huge,
so deep.
huge.
You'd spend days.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a lot of songs that they have that I've heard that I didn't even know were Fish songs.
and fans are particular. When I went to see Fish when they came to Charleston, there were guys who were almost betting each other what song was going to come next,
Oh,
or
yeah.
two
That's a
songs
thing.
from now.
That's a thing.
It was an intense form of gambling.
On the way home from a gig over the past weekend, we were listening to a Fish stream, and they were like, I bet you don't know what song's coming up next. And most of the time, he was right. One of the guys in the van, he was spot on. He knew what they were going to play next.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What other band exists with that kind of culture?
I don't know. Maybe Grateful Dead. I feel like, the Deadheads are the same way with that music. They know it. They might know what's
yeah,
coming
I think
next.
in the heyday. I'm sure the Dead in the heyday. And
Yeah.
now with Dead and Co. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. For those that can't see, Sean has an adorable little son who's running around the studio just being
Having
so
fun.
so fun
Doing
and
his
so
thing,
wholesome.
man.
Dude,
YouTube get boring sometimes, so
I'll-
he's like, all right.
we don't fault him. We love him, man. So, all right. Explain to me what happened to you this past weekend.
So this past weekend, Friday, I was in Asheville at the salvage station. That's like second home, man. It's like Charleston, but in North Carolina. Honestly, man, like they show love, like the family here show love. It was insane, man. We packed out. We did the outside stage with Ghostland Observatory. They killed it. They killed it. What's up, buddy? They killed it. We had a great show there. Then Saturday we went to the Sweetwater 420 Fest, which was amazing. It was at the 420 Sweetwater Brewery, and they had 3 stages set up. Big stage outside, big stage inside, another medium-sized stage on the front end of it. Which Wolf Mass, another project I'm in, led by Ross, we played that stage at 1 p.m. and then I played the main stage with Doom at 7, and both stages were just amazing.
How often do you travel and play music? Because you're based in Charleston.
Yep, now I am.
You're based in Charleston. You live here. You got a fam here, gigs here. How often are you on the road playing with these bands?
Before my son was born, I was a little bit heavier on the road, of course. I would say that I'm on the road 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is where it kind of lands at right now. Sometimes just Friday, Saturday, sometimes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know we got a few 4-day runs, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up. There's a talk about a 10-day run coming up. So it kind of just sticks around there. I would say no more than a full week, 7 days. But for the most part of it, just 2 or 3 days at a time. Man, like a week off, and then the next week I'll go back out for another 2 or 3 days. So I don't tour too heavy, but I tour, a reasonable amount.
What's it like touring, being on the road, being, a dad, coming home and doing daddy duty after just,
Man, listen,
traveling
it
for
is-
10 hours?
not easy at all. Um, well, it's I'm not gonna say it's not easy. It's not easy leaving my family behind. You know what I mean? Because I want to be there,
Of
playing
course.
with them and being with my lady and all of that cool family stuff. But I got a passion too, so it's like ah, you know. But I got a strong support system. You know what I mean? My lady, she supports me 100% of the way. Like she wants me to do it. She wants me to go on the road, not too much, but she wants me to go out and play those gigs and rub elbows with people and meet other musicians and other bands and just do that whole thing. It's fun, man. It's fun. And hopefully in the future I can make it to a point where I have the big tour bus and I can bring my family every gig we have and all of that.
You're saving up for a bus that has a shower in it.
Yes.
That is tour success. That's awesome, man. It's very admirable. I have a lot of admiration for you.
Thank you.
Be as busy as you are, as talented as you are, to be able to keep the flame lit, not get burnt out, but also be a great friend, be a great dad. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. What do you think about getting kids into music? You know, how
Um
how old do you think kids start showing signs of being able to do something musically?
Honestly, man, this little dude was already bopping the music, I would say 6 months in when he can like move his head freely without it falling all over the place. um if you introduce music to them right when they come, even if before they're born, we would put headphones on her belly with music, any kind of jazz, funk, hip hop,
Pantera.
Pantera. We would put headphones on our belly, and he would move inside when the music was playing. Hold on, let me get you. There you go. And I think it helped because he's got rhythm like no other, man. He can um he can stay on beat. If I'm playing a drum beat, he knows where the one is at every time. And he's getting really good at keeping it. Of course he fall off, but he's 2 years old. What do you expect? Um, but he's got it. He's got it. And that's because he's been around music since before birth.
Hmm. Do you think it's like something that you pass on internally? Do you think there's like some kind of thing that you're born with? Or no? Do you think that it's what you're exposed to right when you are able to have these experiences? Like right when you are susceptible to be able to listen to music or hear it or remember a melody, because he's already singing melodies, he's already
Yep.
singing songs that he can retain, the idea of music. Do you think that people that grow up and are really skilled and they're on the road, they're musicians, whatever, do you think that's something that is already with them at birth and they work on? Or do you think that's something that nobody has? It's just a matter of what you're exposed to right away.
I think it's a little bit of uh both. They have that saying, you were born with that gift. And that's true. When your whole family has been into that, it comes to you too, obviously. But when you're born, it's up to the people around you to keep you involved in it. Cause it's easy to lose too, you know? If you don't practice, it's just like practicing. If you don't practice, you'll never get nowhere. So it's like you gotta keep music around your ears all the time. You gotta keep I keep him at shows, a lot of shows. He comes to a lot of shows and sees what I do. He can almost set up drums for me, not quite yet, but he knows what to do. He knows to put the kick drum pedal with the bass drum. He knows the the stick bag. He unzips it and gets 2 sticks out for me. And he knows the symbol. He don't know how to quite put them on there, but he knows where they go. So it's just a matter of just keeping them involved in that music aspect.
You're basically training him to be a roadie. So that when he's
Of
10,
course.
he's gonna
have to
set up and break
yeah.
down for you.
Oh yeah. I don't want to hire nobody. I don't care if they're a friend who could do it.
Why you got to spend the money when you got child labor?
True. I mean, he would get paid, just not in money. And hey, I put food on the table for you. What you talking
Right.
about? Come on.
Right. These hot dogs don't buy themselves, son.
These pizza rolls aren't going to buy themselves, son. Come on now.
You kind of, I feel like you're the type of person that you do a lot of things. You're able to balance all of those things very well. But in terms of the future, I don't like to use the word, but when you look at the future, what of the things that you're currently doing do you feel like are things that you want to take to the next level? Is it the gigs around town? Is it writing music? Is it being the singer-drummer guy like Anderson .Paak, who's the singer-drummer guy? Is it continuing on with psychedelics and doom? What is, when people say, what's your 5-year plan?
Well, I mean, it kind of, I don't want to say it changes for me every day, but I'm always thinking of something different every day. Of course, I got another kid on the way coming in June. So I got to think a little bit different. I'm going to have 2 kids, creating a family, doing the whole family thing. And of course, down the line, I'm going to definitely get married. So I got to think about that. And for me, I kind of want to end up as a studio guy. It don't have to be soon or in the 5 years. It can be 20 years from now. It could be 10 years from now. But I definitely want to end up being like a studio musician, man, where you just hire me to come lay down some drum tracks or some vocal tracks, and I can do it from the comfort of my own home. I want to build a studio in my house whenever I get to that point. Have a little studio room with my drum set up, mic'd up, or a vocal room or whatever.
That is the dream.
That's the dream for me.
Collectively, I think that's the dream for everybody that does music and really loves music, is to be able to have that studio space. It seems like that dream, that goal, feels obtainable, but it's really hard. It's really, 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 really hard.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest thing to be able to create and maintain the space to continually produce, write music, content.
Well,
Why is it so hard?
It's also really hard, I would say, to get into the financial part of it, to where you're getting paid for sessions. It's easy to ask your friend, hey, can you come lay down some guitar parts? Or, hey, can you come lay down some vocal parts? And they're your friends, so you don't want to let them do it for free. But you know what I'm saying? It's like trying to get into that financial part where you're getting paid for these sessions and for your time and your talent. It's not easy at all. It's like a barrier you have to break to get in there.
I think the vicious cycle that is professional studios is this. You find somebody that's super inspired, super talented, wants to help other people create music and create content, so they get a space. And to be able to have a space that you can facilitate those projects, it's very expensive. So they get this space, this individual or a group of individuals gets this space, and now they're in a position, because of how expensive it is to have the space and maintain it, they're in a position where they have to make money off of every session in a way that, an hourly cost, in a way that supports their monthly costs, the way that pays everybody, the way that keeps things going. And that's tough, because you're relying on people to come every day, essentially,
Yeah,
give you an
you
hourly
are.
rate, and you're relying on that to be able to turn on the lights and run the soundboards and record and do microphone maintenance and
Yep.
guitar maintenance and all that. It's tough. It puts people in a tough position. It's been something, a code that people have been trying to crack in the music industry for years. It's like, how do you maximize your time in the studio? How do you get the most out of going to the studio? Bands like the Rolling Stones, they used to write in the studio. They used to book out studio time, sit there, write on notepads,
Wow.
create guitar riffs. AC/DC, also, bands that have guitar riffs, super recognizable, stuff like that. A lot of those guitar riffs of that classic rock era were written in the studio. If you think about doing that now, hey, Sean, you and me, we're going to go to a professional recording studio and we're just going to write for an endless amount of hours, that would ruin us financially. That would be so difficult for us to pull off.
Yeah.
So nowadays, you go into the studio and you're like, we got to track. I practiced all my parts. We did all this stuff. We're here to hit record and go. And a lot of times you walk out of that experience being like, well, I don't love my take, or I don't love what we played. We were kind of uncomfortable. We were rushing it, trying to get the most out of the time. So having a studio nowadays is the ultimate goal for every musician, to be able to have your own space and to be able to build an environment that you're not necessarily relying on other people project funding to be able to keep your space going. I'm with you, man. Having a studio would be ideal.
Yeah, man.
I think it's obtainable, but you're right. Trying to get the money together, you just got to buy a space. You got to buy a warehouse and then convert it yourself. And then you could tell people, instead of, hey, man, can you pay me $50, $100, $275 an hour?
Right.
Instead of that, you can say, hey, come to my space. Let's create something. Whatever we create, however much time it takes us, however many days it takes us, hours, whatever we create, we'll split the profit or the benefit of what that turns into after we release it. You know?
Yep.
So if I wanted to record you, instead of saying, Sean, give me $150 to record drums, I could say, hey, come to my space that I own and let's make a song. And when we release it, we'll just credit each other 50-50.
Yeah.
That's the
that
dream.
works.
That's the dream
That is the dream.
for everybody, pretty much.
Yeah, man. Especially I would feel like for anybody who has kids and a family, you don't want to spend your whole life on that road. You know what I mean? Even if you can bring your family with you all the time, you know, it gets a little bit heavy on the heart sometimes. It's like, man, you know, my family's back home, but I'm out here on the road, you know.
I'm out here smoking doobies in the middle of Wyoming,
Yeah.
trying to find a convenience store. What the heck am I doing out here? I could be making easy mac and cheese at my house.
Yeah, peanut butter and jellies, getting messy with my kids, man, you know.
Nothing like a good PB&J. If you had to choose, would you stay in Charleston? If you could choose any place to do music, I'm saying New York, Los Angeles. You've been to so many places. You've been to freaking Mexico. You've been on cruise lines. You've done so many cool things. All the places you've played, all the places you've been. Would you still choose Charleston?
Yes. I mean, that could always change 5 years from now. But for now, yeah, I gotta say yeah, because we're both somewhat close to our parents. My parents don't live that far away. You know, I like to stay close to family. I don't like to be too far. And I ain't got nobody near me I don't know. You know, friends and everything are cool. You know, you got friends that are like family, but there's nothing like that, your actual family. You know what I mean? Being close to your auntie or your grandma or your first cousin, or even your parents or your brother, being super close to them, knowing that they're not that far away. That's the best feeling in the world. It's like sometimes I just take random trips back home because it's so close. It's only an hour and some change just for the fun of it. Like, let's go see grandma today. Let's go see my mom today or whatever, you know? And if I feel like if I move too far away, that just I lose that honest. Like it's not just a day thing anymore. Like this is turning into like a overnight stay or a whole 2 days plan. We gotta plan this now versus it just being spontaneous and just going.
Interesting.
But like I said, that can always change, you know. That I have, talked to my girl about maybe moving to a different city. Um, and it's not something that we're just throwing away. You know, we keep it on the back burner. If we need to, because there's, the market is crazy, man. Especially when you're trying to find a home and this and that and the third. You got places that are much cheaper than other places. So, for now, right, we're going to stay in Charleston for now.
Do you think there's an opportunity for Charleston to have a music industry? Or you think that it's just going to stay where it's at, this little micro bubble that has the potential to explode into something amazing? Do you think being a musician in 2023, that's your occupation? You go on the road, you play, you see places, you see bands. You think that Charleston has the opportunity to be an industry hub?
Of course. Yeah, man. It's just too much talent around here. Like there's some really, really amazing musicians here and very, very kind people and a lot of business minded people here. I do feel like it can turn into that. If everybody has to work together, though, that's the thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I talk about that a lot. We've had this conversation 100 times where the sense of community and what the community does for one another is really what helps a scene expand. People on the scene helping one another is really, really, really how it grows.
Super.
We're fortunate that we're part of a scene that is like that.
Yes.
It's a lot of amazing, dope people that are just like willing to help you and willing to try something. And stylistically, any type of music, venue wise, any type of gig, there's literally any type of gig here. It's funny, kind of a random thought, but this past weekend, I played 2 weddings back to back days. And the Friday wedding and the Saturday wedding were so completely different. You would think that you were in 2 different countries. So the Friday wedding was on the beach. It was on Folly Beach in the sand. Usually weddings happen late in the afternoon toward the evening. They had the ceremony for this wedding at 1:30 in the afternoon on the beach. So I was sitting there with my acoustic guitar, baking like a freaking raisin in a suit, just disgusting, like just dripping sweat in a suit, strumming this acoustic guitar while some dude with like a bowling ball belly is picking up seashells next to us, and people are walking around with visors and no shirt, kicking around sand. And here we are set up for this ceremony. The thing was, these people were super, super laid back. They didn't have a wedding planner. They were super casual. They just wanted it to be on the beach. There was no sense of direction. And I say that because when there is no wedding planner and it's very loose and casual, a lot of times people are kind of sitting around looking for something to do. Man, me and 60 other people were sitting on the beach in suits looking at each other like, dude, this is crazy. We are frying out here. So Saturday wedding, completely different story. We're playing in Seabrook Island in Charleston, very ritzy, fancy. Everyone's dressed to the nines. That night, there's a show going on at Royal American that's just like some grungy hipster rock band. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's crazy, the diversity of gigs that I just experienced this weekend. And I love that.
Yeah, man.
Man,
That's what
it's
keeps it interesting.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on here and chatting with me and doing your funky thing.
Yeah,
I think you're
man.
awesome. If the people want to follow you, where can they see your stuff? Where can they see your bands? How could they be a part of what you're creating?
Well, Instagram, everybody got an Instagram account. You can follow me on Instagram, of course. That's where I post most of my musical life. Sean SEAN .D Bing BING, like the search engine. Bing. That's my Instagram handle, and my Facebook handle is just Sean Bing. I put more of my family life and just personal stuff on that page, but I also share a lot of my musical stuff on that page also. But those are the two that I kind of stick to. So if you want to follow me, please check out my Instagram handle, Sean.D.Bing, and my Facebook handle is Sean Bing.
What's your thing on OnlyFans?
I got big sticks.
Yikes. Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you bringing the little man to come jam with us. I want to thank our listeners for being so rad. If you guys like music, if you like listening to people talk about music, make sure you follow the Songism Show on Instagram, the Songism Show on YouTube. We will share a lot of amazing videos and music content with y'all that features people like Sean. So, Sean, let's bring him out with something funky, man. Give me a funky beat and I'll play along with you. We're just gonna make something up.
Cool.